There we go. We're on now. Everyone's back. So yeah, quickly recap on podcast. Get your comments in. Get your questions in. Talk about your United game and whatnot. And yeah, so we've already spoke about obviously United coming up next on Saturday. Big people obviously to watch out Ronaldo. Like I said, he's not been in like good of a form. We have beat them at home, haven't we?
Yeah.
When we won 4-2, but that was when we had Vardy in the attack force. So probably not as best now, but
Yeah, just
what's
like
your first
recapping,
thoughts?
like we said, we've got Old Trafford. Sorry, you couldn't hear us before, but now we're back. Yeah, we've got Old Trafford. It's a tough one to go to, regardless of their form that they're in. They're a good team to go and play. You know, it's back from international duties. We've got a decently fit squad. No Ndidi out. I mean, he's out. Vardy's out. We've got tough. They're a tough team. When they're on their form, they've got world-class players like Pogba, Ronaldo, De Gea. You know, so it's definitely one we can get points from, but only time will tell. We've got a few days before we can like soak it all in and see what actually happens at the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, throughout the international break, we've had a few players go into the games. For instance, I think Yuri even captained Belgium into their game. Leicester got scored against
Yeah.
against Netherlands. That was a bit of a shock. They did lose in the end. Casper, he was obviously
Yeah.
playing in their team as well, which we thought was a bit of an iffy one because I thought he was injured at the time after the Brentford game, but obviously he's good, ready to go for the next game in United. What else? Really, you want to talk about?
Get some comments in.
Really, you've just come out of court. Yes, I'm not in my Leicester gear today. Any questions on TikTok? No.
I don't think there's any coming through just yet.
But yeah, obviously, previous game against Brentford, good three points going into the United
Yeah.
game as well.
I mean, the lads that have gone out, they've had a good international duty. A lot of them that have gone out, you know, say you're captain Belgium, Vestergaard scoring, Casper playing, which all shows good signs at the moment. They just need to maybe bring that form back to Leicester a little bit. You know, Vestergaard's been a bit shaky. I mean, I know we don't play him too often, but maybe that goal give him confidence boost back into the club. You know, you never know. Casper, it's good to see that he's clearly not injured. You know, because he's playing for Denmark, so he's fit enough to play for the team. Yuri captain, you know, he's a good player. I mean, clearly, if he's been the captain of a Belgium squad that's got so many good players in it, he's clearly a good player. So he'll be. I think we need to keep with him this season, play with him when we can. We've got, you know, a few more games left to go this season. When you look at them as well, we talked about how many points we could actually end on this season with how many games we've got.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, I don't think we're going to pick up many points at all for the rest of the season.
I think I'm the opposite. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hard games still in there. I think we've got 4 of the top 6 away still to play, and you're obviously United, Spurs, Chelsea, and trying to think of maybe one more. Maybe we played one. Yeah, we played Arsenal recently, so yeah, that was one that I got out of the way. But we still got 3 big games away to go to. We have still got Norwich, we've still got Everton away as well, which for me should be winnable. But the way they're playing, you know, we could easily lose that. But going into obviously the draw as well for Europa League, if we're not getting it in the league by getting in 7th or higher places, the Conference League must be a way to go to get back into Europe because, like you say, if you don't think you're going to get many points,
when you look at who we've got left, we've still got Spurs, Man United, Chelsea, and those are the top half teams. And we've got a lot of teams like Newcastle, Palace, Southampton, Villa. Villa and Southampton are 2 6-point games for us this season because they're so close in points and where they are in position. It's a must-win for us. We need to beat those comfortably. I mean, we're not playing for much this season apart from pride. We need to, you know, get these points. So I don't think we clearly can't get into the top 8. I don't think this season, and that's kind of out of question how everyone's doing. But I think we do need to pick up form a little bit, and you know, we need to get points where we can. We've got Everton twice still to play in the league because obviously the game's been cancelled. So they're on bad form. It could be 6 points quite easily against them.
Well, yeah, you'd say it should be 6 points easily. Yeah. Obviously, with Hayden commenting here, I think we can beat United if Maguire is playing poor. To be honest, Maguire's been poor pretty much all season. So
yeah, you know he's going to
either
put
way,
a best performance out of the bag though for us.
Yeah.
Sorry for Man United. You know he's going to come against us and play his best. I think it'll be a tough one against United, but they've obviously got all these good players, and yes, they've not been in great form, but they're still not going to be an easy team, but they're still, what, fifth, sixth in the league? They're still doing pretty well, albeit considered they're not high up in the league, not as high as they'd like to be, but they're still doing pretty well.
Yeah. David here says, do we change our formation to play two up front to fit the opposition, reach their best day? Man U is a good team. We handled Man City in the back five, so fullback Ricardo Pereira, JJ Castagne all available now. My opinion, no. I don't think tilt front for us at the moment is good because, like people are saying, we've got two strikers fit now. We've got Kelechi and we've got Daka. If we play both of them and one of them gets injured, we're screwed to have one anyway.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we've still got one fit striker, a full striker, instead of it being like a Perez on the centre forward kind of role on the bench in case something happens. So for me, I think the way we're playing at the moment is all right. We've got Barnes on the left. I think Lookman has to be on the right. But people come in, for instance, Albrighton comes in, gets injured. So again, you're using positions where, to be honest, you don't need to waste being putting two strikers up front.
Yeah, I think we could change our formation. I don't think Rodgers would play with two strikers at the moment. I don't think, even with Vardy fit, he'd play with two strikers. He clearly doesn't seem to like that. I think the way we have been playing has been pretty decent. Against Brentford, it was a good game, but we needed to, pick up the guile almost. We needed to be a bit more energetic, a bit more, fight back. We did the last half an hour, we kind of slipped off, and that's where the goal came from. We need to, I think Rodgers needs to stop bringing on the substitutions that he does. Like, when he brings on the players like Sumer and Evans at the back, and we're going to concede as soon as we bring on two defensive midfielders, it clearly shows that we were attacking still, and then as soon as we bring them on, we just sit back for the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, and it completely changes the team. And honestly, it looked like they could have got another goal to make it 2-2, and without Casper, I think it would have been, a couple of points lost if he didn't make this good save. So it's tough to pick out the points. We've been picking up the points, but they've not been amazing performances, but they don't have to be as long as we get the points. So we played Man United this weekend, so it depends how Rodgers is going to set up and who we can play, because obviously got injuries with Ndidi, so you put Mendy in there. I don't think I'd start Sumer, I'd start Mendy. I mean, that really says a lot about Sumer and Mendy, doesn't it? How Mendy wasn't even picked for the 25-man squad, and then he comes back in after winning with Sengel, and he goes in straight ahead against Sumer. He goes ahead of Sumer rather than playing him. So what does that really say about Sumer this season?
I think for me, Sumer is more of an attacking mid than a more defending player, because I think when he was playing for Lille, he was a lot more box to box than anything else, whereas Mendy's more that out and out DM like Ndidi, but then again, to be honest, against Brentford, people said it was man of the match, but then I even watched the match today and they said that really Brentford gave him the ball because he had so much space with Mendy did and had so much room to pass the balls. And I think he even set up probably both the goals before it actually came to the assist of the goals. But it was in so much open space. I think someone like United with two DMs in McTominay or Fred or whoever they play, he's not going to have much room there for Mendy to have that sort of freedom where Brentford gave us. So,
has anyone told you to look like De Bruyne? He's talking to me on that one. I wish I was De Bruyne getting paid as much as he does for Man City.
Yeah.
But thanks. I'll take that as a compliment, I think.
Obviously, make sure you can get all the likes in if you can. Obviously, TikTok, we've already got over 500 likes, which is good. And obviously on StreamYard as well. If you want to get him on YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff, appreciate if you can. Obviously, going into the team news for Saturday, then what would you decide to put at the back line? Obviously, Evans came in late on against Brentford. For me, again, like you said, I don't think the sub was needed because then he was forced to put someone like a Marty, who's been one of our best centre-backs, into a right-back position. And he was the one that was in the wrong position, gave the ball away for the goal to come in. So I don't know.
You play your best team. It doesn't matter how much they cost, or Amarty's like, we've got Fofana and Evans back, but unless you mess around with the back line and make it a back five, you'll put, for me, Amarty and Soyuncu in the back, centre backs and left back. Maybe put Castagne in. I thought he had a decent game against Brentford. Play him again against United. Right back, Justin. I think it's pretty straightforward. Is that you wouldn't put Fofana back in, you wouldn't put Evans back in, rush him straight back, maybe play him for the last 20, 30 minutes.
I think that like the Rennes second leg game, I think Fofana was, I wouldn't say he was needed, but he was that sort of player you kind of had to put in for that game just to show the quality he's there for. You don't need to really risk him in this sort of game, do you? Really, for me.
Say Reedy as De Bruyne if he starts on Saturday. He plays as De Bruyne for Leicester.
I'm all right, thanks. Um, Terry says, "What's this? Leicester's answer to Saint on the Grief show." I'm guessing you're on about a different podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like when you play the rest of the formation, you've got that back five. I think you keep pretty straightforward. Casper, Castagnou's come in. He's one that's come back, but the left backs are pretty tight. I think Thomas has done a decent job, and he does okay when he plays. I think he just needs a bit more of a professional game head when he comes on. So I think we've got a decent back four. As it goes from midfield, it's hard. You've got, who do you play? We've got three pretty key players, you'd say, Tielemans, Maddison and Shrewsbury Hall. You'd probably start all three of them in midfield.
It's hard because people always say if you play Maddison, you don't play Tielemans as well, which I kind of get. And the last few games, I don't think Yorich really performed at all compared to what his standards are. So maybe I'd even say you could put Shrewsbury Hall and put Maddison in. Maybe drop Uritin, but I know it won't happen against someone like United. It's not going to happen. He's going to be in there, but I'd even give chance to someone maybe like a Sumari. I don't know.
I don't think you'd risk it for the United game after international break. I think you'd play Mendy again there. Then, who would you play on the sides? You got Lookman, Barnes, maybe, and Dacron, maybe, and Nacho. Depends. Probably start Nacho the way he's been playing at the moment.
Yeah, well, I honestly thought I'm not too big. I'm not such a big a fan on Kelechi, but I think the Brentford performance really showed his qualities in the game. He held the ball up. He actually beat a lot of the runs on their defence, which maybe is okay because they aren't the fastest at the
It's
back,
a different class against Man United, isn't
you know
it?
what I mean?
You've got
against
more class
Varane. You're
players,
against Varane. You're against like their left backs. Luke Shaw. They know what they're doing at the back. Obviously, other than Maguire, because he's not got a clue apparently.
Yeah.
Jono says Madison, Cam, Yuri, and KDH with Mendy in midfield.
That's four midfielders.
That is going to be the midfield that's probably going to play.
It's very midfield heavy, isn't it? That's how we have been playing. I think it shows when we don't have many wingers because if you have Casper, the back four, those four, you can only play with two more players up front. Then after those four midfielders, which you play your Lookman, your Barnes, and then a striker.
And that's where you'd probably, I guess you'd want to play all them four, but then that means you have to play two up front, which
you play with no wingers.
I don't think that you would do that. So maybe you would drop one of them four, which probably would be. I don't know, maybe Maddison, he's dropped him last game. I think he came on against Brentford. I'm pretty sure he did. I didn't think he started, did he?
Against Brentford?
Yeah.
I think he started the game against Brentford.
I can't remember, but there's someone, I think, was it Yoritin who got dropped? Oh, you got dropped in that game then? So it wasn't Deesby.
I think Tielemans might have got dropped that game.
That's where I think maybe he has to do it in that sort of game. I think Maddison, KDH, and then Mendy. I think that would work. I don't think Yori's been that quality this season. What else we got coming in? Jamie's actually appeared for once. Jamie Preston. I can hear you fine, lads. Good. Terry says, "Who's that? Keep looking over the window behind you." No one, because it's high enough.
Someone's got to be like 9 foot tall.
Yeah, someone's got to be higher than that.
Yeah.
And then KDH Madison has to start without them. We have no spot. Exactly.
Yeah, they definitely create the midfield. Like Tielemans is okay, but he can be very passive when it comes to when he plays. He doesn't bring as much, like you said, spark to the team as those players do. I mean, Shrewsbury Hall is a future captain for Leicester. He brings so much, energy to the club. It's something we've needed this season as a captain in there to control a bit. Tielemans has never been someone to go around and shout, and that Maddison hasn't really been someone to go and control the park when the players lose their head, or make that big tackle when we need it. So I think Shrewsbury Hall definitely it was a good time for him to come in, and he's finally come in and 23 years old, and it took a while to get there, but he's been patient and it's paid off this season.
Terry Fuller says it's Vestergaard who's spying. Yes, well, like I say, I said at the start, he did score a goal against Netherlands,
I
but
don't think you played with all the team we've got back now. If you can keep
pretty much
Evans and
got, we've
Fofana
pretty much
back,
got a full squad now. Other than maybe
why
Vardy.
would you put Vestergaard into this team now? You don't play him unless you've got these players out. Because for me, our main two centre backs at the moment, fully fit, is Amati and Soyuncu. Then who replace? Maybe you'd bring on
I'd
Fofana
take
next.
Fofana, yeah.
Then Evans next. Oh, then
I think
even
if you-
Chowdhury at centre back at the moment.
It's hard because now you've got a full fit squad. It's even harder to get the team in. Like 1 minute we were struggling to get a defender in, and now we've got everyone in that wants to get in. So for me, it's about getting. Maybe you would say back five.
We have played with back five before with wing backs. It's definitely a good option to play with the amount of defenders we've got because it's definitely our strongest. Like we've definitely got a very strong team when it's fully fit. But would you rush a back five with Evans or Fofana? Because Fofana didn't play against Brentford, did he? It was Evans that came on rather than him.
And that's where I said maybe that's where Fofana came in against Rennes because obviously he used to be in that league. He didn't start to play and obviously he scored a goal, which don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean he's fit and ready to play again. But I think he'd be more reliable than someone like Evans. And yes, I don't like Evans, but I think it's just here how he's getting close to not wanting to play anymore.
He's old.
He's getting older.
He's had his
now.
good time. He's 34, 35.
Don't want to risk him coming in, either getting injured again or I don't know, making an error and it leads to where it's Fofana is a lot more safer.
Put the Scott comment up real quick.
Scott says it's nice to see Cags controlling the defence last game. It was what was missing in defence, really impressive. It is.
I don't know if that's Cags doing that though.
I think he had to because I don't think Amarty's that sort of player. So he has to be that commanding role in defence.
I don't think it was Cags defending. I think Castagne's come in and been a bit more controlling because he's a bit more of an older head. He's played football longer than the other lads out there. He knows the team, he knows how to settle down the defence. I think that's the thing that we always need in the back four. And we have Thomas, Soyuncu, Amarty, and Justin, who really controls that back four.
Yeah.
When stuff's going up, when they're on the counter attack, who's there? It's like, right, let's calm down, lads. I think Soyuncu is good. He's definitely controlled his game better. He's definitely not been running in as much, jumping. And he's definitely had a word with Rodgers. Always been told you need to work on your defensive game because you're losing your head a little bit more. So he's definitely been a lot more cooler. But I think we still need a captain in the whole team overall. It's in each section you've got your strikers, your midfielders, and your defence. Who's the captain in the defence? You've got Casper, who's great, but he can't chat. On the other side of the pitch to. The Madison way up there. It's harder to control.
It just shows now that the last few months before the Forest game, we had a back four which has really just created out of a load of midfielders. Because obviously we had Ndidi there at one point, we had Chowdhury there at one point, but now we've got a full fit defence pretty much, other than maybe Ricardo or whatnot. It just shows now we're getting performances a lot better. We're playing a lot better. We had 3 clean sheets in a row. It just shows that the quality is there now. We've got the defence that we want back. Shows you if we had that all season, we could have actually gone for somewhere. Again, it's not because we've overachieved. If we had that defence all season, we could have really pushed on to even get top 6 again.
Well, clearly something's wrong with the medical team at Leicester because you just fear each week. So if someone it's not about who's coming back, it's about who's going to get injured this week. We see it every time we play. There always seems to be someone different that picks up an injury. It was Casper last time, or and
Brighton,
was
it them two together? Yeah.
Yeah, they all seem to be picking up quite a lot of injuries at the moment, which is quite worrying. So we need to, change something about that, or if it's just hard luck.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is. It could be hard luck. It could be not training well enough.
And that's where maybe Rodgers has said that it's just for me anyway, you need to write the season off now. Don't get me wrong, we can still, I could see maybe challenging for 7th if it's possible. But
it's a lot to ask though. I know we've got a few games in hand, but when you look at the teams we've got, there's not many points I don't think we can get realistically on the form. We've been consistent, the consistent form we've been on this year. Do you see us picking up? To get into the top 7, we probably need to get half the points.
This half now, I could see it.
So you think we get 15 points out of the possible 30, I think, available?
Yeah, okay. If we're taking away the 4 away games, the big ones that we have to go to, the United, the Spurs,
I think it's possible to get points.
Maybe
you've got your Norwich and
but
your 2 Everton
games.
games.
If you get your both points against Everton,
Yeah, and
which is
that's
good.
what it is, yeah.
Yes, I could see it still losing that game because it's us against one of the worst teams in the league at the moment. But Everton getting 6 points there, Norwich getting another 3 points. That's already 9 points. And then you've still got the likes of someone. I think is it Villa at home?
I think so, yeah.
Villa at home. That's a doable game.
That's
Yes,
a
it's hard.
6-point game, that
It's
one.
hard. Newcastle away. Don't get me wrong. Yes, they're in form and they're doing well, but we've beat them there loads of times. We can still do it. It's just the big games now that you're looking at certain points before the end of the season where you think you've got United next. Okay, if we lose that, there's 3 points gone. The Spurs are away. You could probably see that's an easy loss, but we could still do them. We did them last year at that place.
No, definitely, we can get points. We just need to,
and
be
that's
consistent
where
and have the performance.
and that's where now all the injuries are back there. I can
I
see
think
us
if we
doing
did
it.
what we did against Brentford, the teams like your Man United or your Spurs, that's where they'll easily counter us and get an extra point in.
Locks is showing up in that out of the blue. Jono does ask, do you think Vestergaard's appearance will give him confidence to play more games? I guess for me, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Vestergaard, the way he plays, because don't get me wrong, he's slow, but he passes the ball well through the midfield. I think now he needs to be used as more what Rodgers has been using him. Now he's got more confidence in scoring a goal, but the more games he plays, you feel more confident in playing. Against Randers, I think he did well. Yes, it's only Randers, but he still did well in the defence. So for me now, I think even Phil said that he's that sort of player for me. If you're losing 2-1 or at the last minutes, just shove him up bloody front.
Yeah,
He won't do that.
I don't think Rodgers would.
He wouldn't do it, but that's the sort of player
It's the
you
old way
know
of
that.
playing football, isn't it?
Do you know what I
Shove a
mean?
defender up front.
He's 6'5". You can pull him in front, one ball cross. If he wins that, you're gonna win. You're gonna get a goal. Which I know he won't do that at all, but it would be nice to see that sort of tactic go into the game with that sort of player we've got. Bazza says Leicester to win Man United 2-1, which is good. And then Scott was saying about his physical, giving the directions, pointing where he wanted people,
yeah.
which I guess is all right. But
He's definitely learned something. Something's been said, or he's been, I think he came out in the press and he said he's happy to play in the Premier League, but he was so, tongue in cheek with it. It didn't say he's happy to play for Leicester in the Premier League. It was. He's another one that could go this season. I think if you're looking at the end of the season, it's not who's going to come in, it's who we can keep this year. I think there's a lot of people that might consider, especially if we don't get Europa League, that maybe their time's done at Leicester.
I was going to ask you a question, but I'll say this first. And obviously, with the Europa League, it's hard because you say that we could win it, but the teams now we've seen throughout, if we win the quarterfinals and then the semi-finals, we've got to play PSD. And if we win that, we've got to probably play Roma, which is probably the hardest running to get to a final, where it's probably going to be the easiest team out of all the all. So it's the other side of the bracket.
It's no joke, this league. It's
hard teams, but Rennes was still a tough opponent, and we lost them in the second round. But it's there for us to win. But I'm going to ask you the question: are you Rodgers in or Rodgers out at the moment? Because for me, with everyone back, it looks like we've got that team back together, and we just need to get them performances keeping going now. Because other than the Arsenal game, we have been winning games a lot more.
We had 2 very good seasons under Rodgers, and yes, both seasons we probably bottled top 4. But he's done well. I mean, he's come in and won his 2 trophies, FA Cup and the Community Shield. It's not
and 2 fifth place finishes, which probably should have been 4th.
Yeah, so he's come in and done well, and I hope he does do well. It's hard to say if I want him to stay because he clearly lacks something. I don't know what it is, but whether it's game management or something. Because when you see it against Brentford, it happened where you saw him make the subs, bring on Evans and Soumaire. But why would you bring on Evans and keep Martial on right back? Why would you not? Because he had to change so many players around. Why not just do 2 substitutions and bring Pereira on and put him at right back?
Yeah, that's like I said, there was a right back there, weren't there?
We've all said it so many times when you watch it on the game, it's like, why has he done that? So we can clearly see what's going to happen next. And then it's like, when we brought on the defensive players, I was like, we're inviting them to attack. And I said around the game, I can see them scoring a goal now. And that's what happened.
I even put it in the group chat. I said to him, the moment I saw him come on, literally getting ready to get some done, I was like, you know what? We're going to concede now, not because of Evans coming on, but you don't change that solid back four that we had
didn't need to change it.
game.
2-0 for the whole game. You just at that point, you keep it the same. If you need someone to come off, you do like subs. Like if you want to bring Evans on for the last 20 minutes, you bring Soyuncu off the last 20 minutes, or you take Amati off. You don't change the whole defence because it shakes us up when we do that. We've said as well, especially these players coming back. Every game of the season, the back four's been different. We've not really kept the same back four, but Soyuncu and Amati have been playing together for a couple of months now, and they've gelled well together. They understand each other a lot better than when we keep mixing it, which is why I think we're playing a lot better as those two together, rather than like changing up. Because we've had left backs and right backs and wing backs. We keep changing it all around where Albrighton's been a winger one day, next week he's a wing back, or you got Justin who plays right back, or then he'll go over to left back, or like say Marty who's centre back and change to right back. Need a bit of consistency.
I know you mean the subs that he's made really hasn't helped.
It's Rodgers choosing that team. He needs to choose a bit more of a.
If it's working, don't change it.
Yeah,
that's the thing that.
And it's definitely let us down this season. Is we've saw it against Spurs as well. We were doing well. We bring on the defensive players and we concede to. At the last minute.
It didn't. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's just inviting them to attack. When Brentford saw we bring on defenders, they're clearly defending.
The moment we brought that defender on, they were on top of us. We didn't really have a showing in that after that. Time to blame the ref says hi. Locke said if Soyuncu wants to go, cheerio, mate. Thing is, there's a lot of players that for me now. I don't think I'd care if they left. Don't get me wrong. Maguire wasn't the best player. So he got 80 mil. I see at the door. Mahrez, I'm glad. I'm like, yes, it was bad to see you go, but
it's the manner he left. We should have. I think both him and us didn't handle it, or the club, not us, but didn't handle it professionally.
And then obviously,
Mahrez is still one of the best Leicester City players ever, if not the best.
Easily, but obviously, in this sort of team, I don't mind if you're.
There's not really one player in this team that would be like you'd be.
If he goes with them, yeah.
Like Tielemans, the rumours are that he's apparently going for 35 million to Arsenal, Man United. So it's £5 less than we spent on him. £5 million less than we spent, not £5, but.
Jono says, focus on the Prem as high as possible. 2, focus on the Conference League and try and win it. Which one would you prefer Brendan to go for? To be honest, he should be going for both because he cannot make the excuses of having injuries now. All we've really got now is Vardy injured and maybe Ndidi, but Mendy proved himself in the AFCON that he's brilliant.
We've definitely got a lot of good players, and I think the only place we really lack in at the moment when we've got a full fit squad is the strikers.
Yeah, we've got 3 strikers and we still need more people.
Don't get me wrong, Vardy's great, but he's on his last legs, not at Leicester, but in his career. You can see he's getting injured every time he comes on the pitch. He came back from a big injury and he's injured again for 2 months. Daka, he even needs time, but he's not ready this season. He's shown that he doesn't have the Premier League head. Inacho's been, he's a good player, but, he definitely plays better with 2 up front. I don't know why we've not played Nacho this season. For me, if I was Nacho, I think he's one of the ones that are going to go this season because he can do better than Leicester, if you ask me. He can not do better as a club, but he can go and play in another first-team Premier League club. I don't know why we've not been playing him, especially after last season.
Yeah.
He will, in my opinion, go to a club, someone like, not doing great, but maybe like a Leeds and start every week, I'm not saying Leeds specifically, but one of those kind of clubs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Basil says, I hope Brendan Rodgers goes 4-4-2 on Saturday, but we can't see it, but United will struggle with that formation. I don't think he just doesn't fit. I don't think Rodgers don't like, even if he play 2 strikers, I don't think he likes the 4-4-2 because it's just too simple. Obviously, one winger, another winger, and then his 2 midfielders. He likes that midfield having a lot of passing wise. Obviously, you've got Tielemans, you've got Maddison, you've got Dewsbury Hall, you've got Mendy. All of them normally play in the first 11. So that's when you play wingers in Barnes and Lookman. And to be honest, going on to the wingers, Barnes is. You're not a big fan of Barnes. To be honest, yes, he's been the most probably threatful at the moment, but for me, Lookman's probably the better winger than him because he knows how to beat a player on. He knows how to skill on a man and then actually go for goal. But Barnes, for me, he just looked a bit like Leicester, I guess, at times.
That's what I think this season. It's been like, we saw it against Brentford.
People will disagree, I know that. Everyone loves Barnes at the moment. He's probably one of the better players. But I know what you mean. He doesn't seem to want to be direct.
He gets to the final third, and if he loses it, then it's kind of like, I've got to go back now. He seems to be a little lazy in the final third.
Yeah.
But overall, I think he's been okay. But like I say, if you were to do a 4-4-2, I don't see, and we've seen it before, I don't see Nacho and Daka working well together up front. I think when you see the three we've got with Vardy, Nacho, and Daka, they're all very similar when they play. If you play with a 4-4-2, we always should, in my opinion, play with the complete opposite, like a Slimani kind of player.
I say that's the sort of player
We need
in this summer.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Brendan Rodgers isn't a fan of that plan B that even your dad says, that Phil says.
Yeah.
We're not going to go to a plan B, put that big man up front like a Ujera or a Slimani to cross that ball in, and hopefully we get that equalising goal to keep us
It's
in
all
it.
very tiki-taka football, but it works well when you're the Man City or whoever's Barcelona teams that can do that. But we've seen it this season. It's like we pass it out from the back, we lose it, and we lose our heads a bit. But if you played a 4-4-2, who would maybe play Nacho and Barnes or Nacho and Lookman up front?
It's hard because you just see the moment Vardy comes into this game, even last season, the end of last season, he's the only kind of player up front would change the style to fit the style of play we're playing. So we're going to enter for at the back or / farther back all the last half of the season, last season. And he wasn't even scoring, it was him that was assisting goals.
Yeah.
He was the one who was making all these goals to Kelechi. Whereas if you had Daka in that chat,
Would it work?
I don't think he would. He both wanted to score. Vardy didn't care about scoring that season. He just wanted to make sure we got the goals to win the games.
We definitely needed someone. I think we need to sign someone who's known in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think it's all well and good signing Daka, but I've heard a few people say he's turning into a bit of a Musa kind of player where he's not doing anything. And I know he's only been here for less than a season, so we've got to give him time. But
he's done well. He's done well in Europa League. Yeah,
that's
Europa
League.
League.
It's Premier League.
And he did well when
football.
Vardy first got injured. He did come in. And yes, it was the tap-ins he got, but he still was in the position to get the goals. John even says here that, to be honest, Dak was one of the players that forced Maguire to make an error.
I think Nacho would force an error more than Daka would. Whenever it's different from watching it on telly to watching it the game. Obviously, when we go to home games, we can see how he plays. Because obviously on the telly it's just showing the ball, but when you see like the balls that come over the top to him, it's like you can see he's still just standing still for it when it's over the top, or he's not realising it's been released.
He's a different sort of player to Vardy. He's not. Daka won't run onto the ball. He will kind of pass it and then make that run instead of just waiting for that ball to go over it and then he will sprint in front of it.
He's got the pace, and I don't think he's using that to his advantage at the moment.
I don't think I've seen him once get a ball from over the top and beat a man and win. I think the only time I saw that was when, actually no, because every goal he scored in the league for me, it's been a tapping. United, he got a tapping back post. He got a goal against Spurs to make it 1-0. Literally a triangle, but it wasn't a beat the man sort of run. He's not done that sort of run that everyone said, oh, he's a new Vardy, is he? He's not really done anything as a Vardy sort of.
He's only been proven in, was it the Austrian league? It's just so different.
He's the next new thing that people are saying. Don't get me wrong, I was hyped when he came in, but I don't want to be harsh on him because, like you said, next season's his season, hopefully to really prove it.
But can we risk it next season on just Daka and Nacho? It's because we will have Vardy hopefully next season, but he'll be
more of a sub, won't he?
I think his best position for us now is to come on for the last 20-30 minutes and play that kind of football because he can't handle, I think, a full match anymore. We've seen that before. We played 2 matches and he got injured again. And I know it's not the same kind of injury, but if he's just getting injured like week in, week out, there's only so much he will want to take personally. Like he won't want to get injured. He won't want to completely like ruin his legs at all. He wants to, he's had a great career at Leicester, but I think we just need to sign someone who's not, who's in a decent Premier League club that's not playing maybe as much.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's loads of strikers out there that would happily come to Leicester if we said you get guaranteed first team football.
Yeah, and obviously we are going to be slowly ending the other thing, but obviously we've got a question on there quickly for you to have a look at. But for me, a question to give you as well before we do slowly end off this show, that because obviously it's getting to the end of the season now with 10 games to go, the players that you just said, we might need a new striker, we might need certain areas to improve. For me, there's a few teams that will be going down. Is there any players out of them 3 teams that you think were going down that you'd probably take off?
Who were going down? Norwich.
You've got Burnley, probably, Norwich, and then you've got the likes of maybe Everton.
I think Everton will stay up.
Watford and all that.
But Everton have got some decent players. They've got Richarlison. I know he's can be a bit of a bad egg maybe, but
For me,
He's still a decent player,
For me, it's
decent
Pope.
striker.
For me, it's Pope and Burnley. I
Yeah.
think he has to be the one that. Don't get me wrong. It means that maybe
That's another question. Is
Casper.
Casper going? Nick Pope wouldn't sign for Leicester to sit on the bench
No, but you'd maybe say
unless you offered him.
Casper's even came out and said he wants Champions League.
If
Let
you
him
want
go.
to, if you let him go,
Pope
you
is
know.
probably, I won't say a better replacement, but he's as close as spark as you can get because he's proven he does it for Burnley. Don't get me wrong, yes, they're still down there, but it's because of the defence in front of him as well. It's not because he's letting all the goals in. Every time we played against him, he's been an absolutely outstanding player.
Someone should put on TikTok. I hope Everton go
I
down.
hope not. To be honest,
That'll be
I
the
hope
first
they do.
time
I hope they do.
in their career since Premier League. If
I
they go
hope
down.
they do. I'm sorry, but I hope they do because
Oh, we can help that by beating them both times because we've got to play them twice.
exactly.
So we need the points.
What was the question on TikTok before we do
So
so?
we can beat Man United. You just need to break down the press that Ragnick brings and counter on it. I think we do, but we don't play as much counter-attacking football as we have done in the past when we won the Premier League under Ranieri. That's really when we shined in counter-attacking football. Recently, Rodgers is clearly he takes his time with it because we saw it. It was against Brentford where we had three people outside when they were taking a corner. We'd have three people on the line waiting, which then brings out three of their defenders out of the box, which it shows that he's trying to change things. But, you know,
the thing is it too late now?
Man United are so good. If you give Ronaldo one chance against our defence, he's going to bag it in the goal. I'm
Well,
sorry,
he got three against Spurs.
if we lose a corner as well, to Ronaldo can head it in. They got Pogba who can head it in and shoot from distance.
That's not going to be good, is it?
No,
you can see a hat trick from Ronaldo just from set piece headers. Jono does say Ward has proved me to be a first-team player. He's a very good interim keeper.
I don't think he is.
Don't get me wrong, he's done well at times. Like I say, the Wolves game in the Cup, I think, when he was saving penalties. I think that's mainly where I've seen him do well at penalty shootouts. Where I don't think, yes, he does well for Wales, but that's Wales, and like every 10 months when they play.
I think he's a good keeper, Ward, but he's
I don't
not.
think he's a first starts for me. I don't know why. Maybe because we haven't seen enough of him, but you would never see enough.
I think there's a lot of different keepers. Keepers is very not easy position to buy for. But there's a lot of keepers out there you can do well. I've even said before Henderson from United, who I don't know where did he signed on to United, but obviously he just sits on the bench because there's a lot of you got De Gea and there's another that I think whoever else plays in keeper, so he doesn't get much in there. But he was a good keeper before he signed to United.
And it just shows with Ramsdale as well. Obviously, he played 2 relegation sides.
Well, their other keeper, Leno, he's like
he literally got shown out the door the moment Ramsdale came in because it just shows the quality.
Yeah, so it's another one we could get.
He played that last game.
I'm sure that he'd be happy.
Don't get me wrong. I think I'd rather have Pickford over Leno for 100%. But nah, I don't know. But that's one player I'd maybe take Pope before we do end off. I think Norwich, I don't think there's many players I'd take.
Pookie maybe at your best, sit on the bench kind of player.
That is probably the better player you'd take. And then
I would say Mitrovic from Fulham.
And then it's probably I'd take Mitrovic every day of the week. And then I think the last one for me is Sarr from Watford. If they go down, they can't keep him again, surely.
I don't think he'd go to Leicester. I think he'd go to more of an Arsenal kind of team. I think I could see, Watford, it's in London. He probably sees it. He's still at home.
If they go down, and I think I heard just before we end as well that apparently Leeds is a big one. Did you hear about the Rafinha?
Barcelona.
No, not just that, but you see his clauses for if they go down and stay up.
Yeah,
if they stay
25.
up, it's 75 million. If they go down, it's 25. If they go down, he's definitely out the door.
Yeah, I think he's out the door either way.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Any more questions?
Let's have potential with their squad. Lookman, amazing player. Thomas is good and is good. Soinchu Daka. I think it's very hard to say. You might watch one game where you see them play well, but when you watch a whole season of it, when we all saw it with Maguire,
we knew he
had a good season before the season before he left us, and then the season he played it was pretty below average.
It was after the Euros, wasn't it?
And then he had a good Euros for England, albeit against no offense, tin pot clubs against England. We played against one hard team and we lose in the Euros back then, a couple of years ago. But when we sold him, we all said, when for 8 million, we've snapped their hands off with that. That's ridiculous price. We said he's not worth 30, 40 million.
Even their fans are saying, no, you're robbed us.
You're
robbed us, So I think that's where we're going to end it today. But this is obviously the first of hopefully many podcasts. We might do one next Monday, depending on how work goes. But whenever we can get a podcast out, we will do. Might not be Sam, might not be me, might be someone else, maybe Jake or even Phil doing one next time. But appreciate you coming in, and obviously make sure you check out TikTok. Make sure you get all the likes in before we do. We did get over 1.6k likes on TikTok and as many likes as you can on YouTube and all the other socials as well. So I appreciate you coming in, and we'll catch you all next time. See you in a bit.